Hey guys, welcome back to the Forlight podcast, a weekly show about gaming news, and all things entertainment related. I'm your host for this evening, Leighton, alongside my co-hosts.
I'm Ethan.
I'm David.
And I'm Aiden.
Well, welcome back, guys. We're here for another episode today. This one will be a shorter one, just because of timing and stuff. Ethan really wants me to hold my mic.
I do. I really
comply.
Also,
for once.
by the way, this will be the first ever podcast intro that didn't start with, "Hey, beautiful people."
Actually, though.
There's probably a couple out there.
Yeah, I didn't want to say, "Hey, beautiful people." That's David's thing.
Why?
My thing's, "Hey, guys."
That's like a podcast.
No, I was just talking about.
Hello,
like,
everybody.
My name is
Mark.
I was just talking about
original.
like, you know how I was just talking about like how we should have individual. Anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. So welcome. We have. I know. We have housekeeping, and Ethan would like to talk about the housekeeping.
Okay. So it's a small thing, and then David Leighton will do our normal housekeeping. I wanted to just talk about we have a lot of episodes that are very late because college kid. Anyways, the one that just went up, if you guys are Spotify listeners, we had go up, I think, what's today? It's today. So it came up about an hour ago. It's like 8:20 now, 8:21. But I mistakenly deleted the file that held the entire thing together for YouTube. So I'm going to have to go back and re-edit that entire podcast and then re-upload it.
The entire thing?
Yeah, the entire thing's
Are
gone.
you sure
So,
it was in your... are you
wait,
sure it's not in your recycle bin?
Yeah.
no,
Maybe
I emptied my recycle bin.
No, you didn't.
How did
Because
you
I wanted
empty-
to get space.
You're
okay?
such a goofy man.
I wanted to make space. And so I then realized as I go back into our Adobe, it just goes, file corrupted. The entire thing's red. And I'm like,
So guys, we do this for a living. We're very professional.
Yeah,
at
super
this. This is
professional.
definitely
Yes.
like our thing we do. You know?
Absolutely.
Okay.
it'll work itself out, though. And you guys will see 2 episodes coming up. I'm going to hopefully be able to crank out a couple. I have a lot of Chinese work
Trith-off is
to do.
here.
But yeah. Anyways,
But yeah,
back to
okay, so
housekeeping.
like back to our regular schedule program.
scheduled programming.
As always, you can find us anywhere you can stream podcasts, such as Apple Music, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon. You can find us on YouTube.
Probably on your mom's Walkman, too.
You-
Like,
I
we're
know,
probably
really.
good.
Yeah, we're right there.
We gotta
Yeah.
get...
Plug in
backtrack
your
of 80s
headphones.
music as she power walks through the suburbs.
Yeah, whenever you see your mom listening to music now, you're going to hear, "Hello, beautiful people."
No. What you're gonna hear is...
Man, that's something we haven't talked about in a while. We haven't talked about our intro or outro in a while. David
Dude,
and I made that
Yeah, that's
with the help of our friend Joey.
Actually, we
on
were
the
talking
outro.
about this earlier today.
Yeah.
About I was just playing some Metallica stuff. Seek and Destroy has this incredible bass part. Just goes crazy. And Orion too. I was playing Orion too. That song
I love
is
that
so
song.
sick.
I just spilled my coffee.
But yeah, I was practicing that earlier, and I texted Lane. I'm like, this part is awesome. And he just goes like, yeah. Let's create a new intro for the Forlight podcast. I'm like, I'm so sorry. What?
no. Okay. It was just like, you know, like a season 2 kind of thing. I don't know. Shut up. But anyway,
No, I love it. You may be expecting one soon, but we'll see.
We'll see.
We shall see.
But
Nonetheless.
yeah, so you can find us anywhere you can find podcasts. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna make a joke. Go ahead.
Okay. Wow, this is an old one. Yeah, so you can find us anywhere you find podcasts. We are streaming now on Saturdays. We stream on Saturdays from usually 8 to about 9:30, I think. Today it's going to be a shorter episode. Ethan really wants to say something. Please go ahead.
I just found out that tomorrow marks 1 year of the Forlight podcast.
Yo!
I legitimately just looked that up. It was October 15th. We're recording this on October 14th, 2023, and we started this a year ago.
Holy
That's crazy.
shit,
We have
boys.
34 episodes.
Well, I mean,
out
we
now.
did do Sunday.
We need to
did
celebrate.
Sunday episodes, so.
Yeah.
And so sorry if we're a bit rushed today and a little crazy. We just want to get these reviews done so Ethan could go to play D&D.
I don't know why Ethan and Leighton. Thank you. I also don't know why my hat's on too.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about 2 games. The first one is one that I put full review in, lead reviewer. We could say, kind of professional. That's what.
No, you're the lead reviewer.
Shut the fuck up. But some background in this game is we do for all of our professional reviews. The game released Lies of P. Why did? Shh.
And
the game
cut.
released-
Sorry.
The game released on September 19th, 2023 by NeoWits and Sound 8 Studio. It's a Souls-like, which is something I'll be going into later. It released straight to Game Pass, which was really interesting, but then it released on basically every platform. I think it's on PC as well, but it's on Xbox Series X,
It is
PlayStation
on
5
PC.
and 4, and Xbox One.
It's on Steam.
Why'd you do it? I don't know.
Should The full game is about 28 hours. I have not beaten it just yet. I'm about 22 hours in. I'm
Man.
basically at the last section.
What was
There's a last
Hey,
portion.
Ethan, what was that rule that you came up with about
If
having
I
to
put enough
review?
time into it, okay? First of all, we'll
was
get
that-
into that,
what was
okay?
that
I
about
couldn't
having
beat
to,
the
like-
game because of one motherfucker.
What
all
was
right?
that about having to beat the game to review the game?
You shush
I feel
your
like
mouth.
I feel like we had something
David,
to talk
did,
about there.
David, did you beat Dave the Diver?
Yes.
Huh, interesting.
Fuck.
Ethan, you're like the odd
Damn
man
it.
out here, and
I-
we
You
can
could've
mock
beat
you.
Dave the Diver. That's what
No, I finished the story, and I also am attempting to 100% it, but I'll get to that in a minute.
That's
So Ethan,
okay.
Ethan,
Layton, I'm gonna hit you. How about that?
you are the odd man out, and we can mock you relentlessly for this one. I hope you know that. Moving on.
I'm gonna smack the shit. Sorry. Anyways, but yeah, so I think what the takeaway of this game was going into Lies of P and starting my conversation about it, and you guys can jump in with questions as I hope you do, is that this was the first game of its kind, not from Software, that copied the Souls-like style and did it very, very well, in my opinion.
Interesting.
This
The
game
first? Are you
that did
sure?
it very well
Oh.
is what I'm saying. I like it. Okay. Like this game, honestly, I could mistaken it for a FromSoft game. I'm not even joking. It's very, very well done. There's a lot of detail. The story is really, really rich. The characters are awesome. All of the different attachments and just like the kind of gameplay loop is really, really fun. Layton, what do you want?
So I have a question.
What's your question?
I think you might know what it is.
I don't.
Why didn't you finish the game?
Because I'm bad. Okay. All right. Did you wanted that answer? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. Okay,
That's
good.
literally what I
Now,
wanted.
like, why don't you be so happy over there in the corner and shut the fuck up? Okay?
I am very
All
happy.
right.
Okay.
I am very happy.
So going into the start of it, I want to talk about the story. The story is
I'm sorry, I thought it was fucking funny.
what?
You're just,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Let's go, bitches. Okay.
Did you see it?
It was very, very, very well thought out. It's sort of confusing right now. There's a lot of story beats and certain kind of details that are being added that don't make sense. But I think it's because there's going to be a big reveal at the end. Something's going to happen. And it's all going to connect again. There's three kind of.
What if it doesn't?
Then maybe my
And you
review
wouldn't
goes
know.
Layton, I'm going to punch you, dog. You literally were talking to me about doing Forza Motorsport, having like 7 or 8 hours in the game. I don't want to fucking hear it. Shut your mouth. God damn it. Anyways,
Dude is literally the guy in class who's like, but to play the devil's advocate,
literally. There's
It's like that guy in my CS class who like idolizes Homelander.
Ew, that's an entire thing.
Me for real,
Shut up, bro.
guys.
He is
Um,
quite literally
there's-
the most egghead-looking egghead I have
Continuing.
ever seen.
oh
Yeah,
my god.
There is 3 groups in Lies of P. There's the Stalkers, the Alchemists, and obviously the puppets. The premise of the story is you play as P, basically Pinocchio, who is trying to fix Kraut from an invasion of deadly puppets and this disease called decay. There's a kind of a loop that you kind of figure out which factions are good and which factions are not good, and whether or not the puppets are even good or are they bad. The difference about you is you play as Pinocchio, and you would think that it's the whole childhood story of you shouldn't lie or your nose will turn bigger and you'll turn into a puppet. It's like that children's story. In this game, which I think is a really cool aspect, is if you lie, you actually get closer to becoming a human because humans lie. And so something that's automated and has to tell the truth constantly would kind of correlate back to a puppet. And so that entire loop is really cool because I actually started telling the truth to start off and then realized that a lot of the characters in the game are like, no, lie a shit ton. Like, 1, it will save your ass, and 2, you'll become more human, which is really cool. But yeah, from story, I want to talk about a little bit of gameplay. Do you guys actually have any questions before I move into story? are into gameplay?
I was just gonna say, watch out for spoilers.
Yes, I know. I don't think I'm gonna. That's it for story.
I think it's pretty sick. It sounds cool.
Yeah,
it's
it is
really cool.
It is.
How is the? Oh wait, you're gonna get
Go
to
for it.
gameplay.
Okay.
My bad.
I
was gonna ask
so-
about gameplay.
How is the game?
Well, it's funny you ask. But it is a Souls-like, and they've really replicated the formula very well. The movement is similar. It's kind of sluggish in certain points because you have to be thinking about. It's a dance. That's the whole thing about Dark Souls, about Elden Ring, about Sekiro, is that you initiate a dance with your enemy, and you are trying to do the right things in response to what they do, in response to what you do, and they copied it so well. It's not even beyond copy. It's a lot of the stuff is very different, and that's where like Legion arms come in. Legion arm is an attachment that P has on his left arm that allows you to do certain things. So like you can
It's a devil breaker.
Yep, you can dispense. There's a Deus Ex Machina one. There's fire. There's electricity. There's a puppet string that allows you to grab someone and pull them towards you, and then eventually, when you upgrade it, you get to like fucking jump on top. It's great.
It's a grapple hook.
Yeah, it is. It's a very, very, very like. It just has that click of the Souls-like. What I will say that's different is that it's a combination of Sekiro and Elden Ring. Dodging and parrying in certain fights are not just something you can definitely do. Dodging in certain parts you cannot do. If you dodge, you are going to die. You have to parry.
So bizarre.
If you parry,
It's a lot
you're
like
going to
Bloodborne.
die in certain parts because you need to dodge that point. And so that's where actually we get into a little bit of my negatives, is that kind of feel doesn't always happen right away. And it started preventing me from moving on because I wasn't picking up on I need to change how I'm moving. I was just going in and going, okay, I know how to parry, let's start parrying. And certain moves will go right through your parry. And it wasn't kind of, I don't know, clicking in my head, and it prevented a lot of fights from me moving on. It's probably my biggest negative, and that went into the bosses. But going from gameplay, also I would like to mention they do have the level up system that like Elden Ring had, like the motivity, the vigor, capacity, technique, upgrading certain parts of you that will make your playthrough better or put you into a certain kind of
Category.
what's that word? It's not category.
Class.
It's like
Niche.
play group or like play style. Yeah.
Then there's sadly no magic.
Ratio.
Which is
Get
good.
fucked.
I honestly think Magic would
Magic
wouldn't make much sense.
nerd.
Shut up, strength player.
I'm kidding. I'm actually.
Hey, I'm a
deck
strength
nerd.
player, okay?
You're a strength faith player. You're okay.
Okay.
I'm actually
You're okay,
a dex
baby boy.
player.
Hey guys, I
that's
play Elden Ring too.
You should be.
I just watched the Nintendo, or I think it was the Nintendo one. He goes, Elden Ring is boring into the mic. And I went, okay, you're done. And I edited that section out, you know?
Did you actually? I'm gonna smack the shit out of
The thing is
you.
Ethan's
also,
like-
I finished that podcast going, Hollow Knight sucks, and you just hear, from David. So, but yeah, moving from gameplay into some combat, I just talked a little bit about parry, but they're also, similar to Sekiro, there's a perfect parry. If you can perfectly time your parry, you won't take any damage. Also, a neat thing is that if you block with a parry, your health decreases like you got hit, but it's like faded. Your health is faded, and that means that you can, if you hit a successful attack in response, you will get that health back. If you're hit outright without blocking, you will take that damage. There's no ability of getting it back, which is a really cool thing of like, you don't necessarily have to be perfect in certain things. If you like miss a timing but still block, you can technically get that health back without having to worry about losing more.
Yeah, I will say I've been playing a little bit of Lies of P. I was supposed to be on this review, but I didn't play enough of it. I just decided to watch Hajime no Ippo throughout.
I see.
Yes. I will say the mechanic of when you don't perfect parry, you still take damage, but when you do, it's like temp damage, because when you do perfect parry, all that damage goes back. So instead of having like a stagger bar from Sekiro, it just goes off of your health bar, and you regain that health back when you do a perfect parry. I find
which is
that
what I just said.
I find that mechanic both interesting and a little difficult.
I don't perfectly say that. It's hit or perfect parry, which I'm not good enough to be able to perfect parry and get that health back. But that's a side thing, you know.
Wait, you can't perfect parry?
No, I can. It's just
I was gonna say you got that far without perfect parry.
He's just bad at the game.
Stop. Another really cool thing is grindstone.
Just like Motorsport.
There is another concept of this game where your weapon actually starts decreasing in health as you fight. It starts taking damage. It never breaks, but it will do significantly less damage if it's fully, like, the bar is fully gone. So you have to use a grindstone to sharpen your blade, and it honestly doesn't happen very often. Like, you go up to a
Yeah, you kind of forget it's there for a long way.
and I only remembered in certain fights where you're fighting for a long time. But also, as you get into the farther game, there's some attachments that you can make to your grindstone that do proc damage, like fire or electricity. Really cool. And it's also the animation of doing is really cool.
How the fuck do you grind your giant wrench?
You know, we're not gonna think about that. This is whatever.
Him
I
using
use
a comically large
giant
wrench, which
yeah.
is
You would.
It's cool.
you should
but
branch
another thing I
out
wanna
into
talk
other
about.
weapons.
Weapon assembly. It's the highest ATK in the game, though, so that's why. Weapon assembly is probably the neatest thing, other than Legion Arms, in this game that I haven't seen from other things. You get a weapon, you can disassemble the head of the weapon and the base of the weapon and attach it to other things. And every single head and hilt has a different proc effect. So, or like a different. I think they call
On
it
hit,
I think they call it
fables.
fable technique. Yeah.
Fable arts.
So, for example, actually don't want to spoil that. That's a weapon that's really cool. But there's like ones that, like a pipe wrench, which is the ones that I have. I attached the wrench to a like exploding pickaxe handle, and the handle allows me to gain endurance when my swings go through, and the wrench just does a lot of heavy damage. So when you hit the fable, it does like an overhead attack. And does
The
really
weapon,
high
the head fables do damage, and the handle fables do give you like a buff.
Yeah.
Think of it as like the Wondrous Fisk from Elden Ring.
I don't think he knows what that is. But anyways, moving from combat, I want to talk about bosses. Bosses, very, very cool, and there's a lot of stuff that really replicates in the Elden Ring aspect. The stuff where you go up to a boss and they wait just before they're about to, like, literally like puppets or something like that. You would think a puppet would go and like kind of move weirdly. That's what they do, and some of them will legitimately just wait right above you and then slam down their hand.
The enemy design in this game really captures what they are,
Right.
which is robots and puppets. Because I was fighting the first boss, the
Parade Master.
Yeah, the Parade Master, and he was in the demo and whatnot, so he's been out a while, so I'll spoil it. It's not even really a boss fight too much. It's really cool for a first one. It kind of has that same feel as like Margit or your first dungeon that you do in Elden Ring. But I was playing against him, and I'm like, okay, he's got like, because first of all, their attacks are not smooth. In Elden Ring, everything's at 60 FPS, give or take, and then everything's smooth. So even if they pause, you know that it's going to be a smooth hit coming at you. But because they are puppets, and because 95% of them are breaking down at this point, they are very clicky. So they move in like clicks and like different stages,
and it messes you the fuck up.
Fucks you up, especially when you try and use your
smart but annoying. In certain parts.
because you get used to like Sekiro and Elden Ring, where it's like, oh, everything's fluid, so you can dodge or parry like with the dance, but the dance is done by robots, so they're all like clicking and have like mechanical joints and stuff, so it fucks up your movement because you think the timing is going to be at one point, but it's actually others because they stop halfway through to pause.
What are you doing?
Skill issue.
Five Nights at.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Man did this. Man did this. And I was like,
though.
I did want to mention one thing that I thought was
go
cool. And they really utilize the fact that the bodies of the enemies are puppets in very unique ways, because when I was fighting the Parade Master, I realized that one of his attacks, he does a overhead slash, and then instead of he brings his arm over, so I thought he was going to bring his arm over and then do a slash to the right, but instead he just twists his torso around for a quicker attack from the left. And I thought that
Right,
was so
yeah.
fucking cool because you don't expect it, and then afterwards you're like, oh my god, that makes so much sense because he
Right.
can just turn his torso 360 degrees.
It's that visual of like in Sekiro, the katana fights are so much better in my opinion, and honestly somewhat easier because they're fluid. You know exactly where the katana is going to hit, and it feels like it's more sharpened because it's more sharpened to a point versus a giant hand coming at you. You can't necessarily, especially if their fingers are curled or like there's more weight behind it. It's like things come in and they change how you're going to react to it, and that's something they really do well. But that's my biggest gripe is there's 2 bosses in this game that legitimately almost made me bring it down points as well as almost uninstall this game because I don't want to spoil because the bosses are all really even these bosses were very cool. One of a slight spoiler is that they proc the decay damage, which is the disease that's going around. And I've never had that in a fight, I don't think, other than some other ones, but you can out DPS or something. This one is like, there's nothing even in that case, like the fights you were able to avoid it in most cases. These ones you can't avoid the damage. So you have to have enough like disease resistant stuff to make sure that you can even get through the fight, and you need to be able to do enough damage to get through the fight. And all of them have second phases and all this shit, and it's like, it made me genuinely annoyed, and I was actually upset with how it was because it didn't feel like they taught you enough beforehand. And that's what the whole thing of skill issue and stuff is, that Sekiro and Elden Ring genuinely send you a boss that teaches you how to go against the next later boss that's gonna be super hard. They give you a kind of like, here's a little demo before you get real fucked. Like,
And then you get real fucked anyways, but you're like, oh, I see why I got real
yeah,
fucked.
but and that was the key, is like I
That's good.
wasn't understanding how to get around. Even the first one of them, I was able to use a certain damage thing that was doing more damage, but it wasn't. It was bad.
I
But
was in the room.
We don't
He
have
was
enough
getting
time to keep going.
genuinely like very upset, and I watched it, and it's kind of fucked because the boss is, big. I'm not gonna like really describe, but it's like boss is big, hulking, whatever, and it's got a couple like tentacles going out, and the proc damage is literally just bing bing, like he crouches down, 2 tentacles, bing bing, like
Yeah,
really
it's
quick,
really
like
fucking
big hulking
annoying.
sweeping attacks. Like you're like, okay, I can get this rhythm down. Just bip, but gone, and you have full proc of decay, which is Scarlet Rot. It's the
dumb.
same as Scarlet Rot.
I want to move into the next stuff and give it over to David.
I do
Music
wanna,
was
yeah.
fantastic. Visuals were great. My summary and rating, it's an 8.5 out of 10 for me from Forlight. It's very good, and I really recommend you buy it because Sound 8 did a fucking phenomenal job with this game. And I'm going to finish it. I'm probably going to play New Game Plus. David Brown.
On to Dave the Diver.
So I played a fantastic game called Dave the Diver. You've probably heard me talk about this on the podcast before.
We've talked about it a couple times.
It's a really fucking interesting game. It originally released June 28th, 2023 on Steam. From other sources, in beta, alpha, whatever, it released back in 2022, but for all intents and purposes, the original release date for multi-platform use was June 28th, 2023. It released on the Switch recently. October 26th is when it's going to come out on the Switch. So, technically not released on the Switch yet, but keep an eye out for it because it's going to be coming out soon. It was released by an indie studio, per usual.
Yeah, no.
Per usual for what I'm going to be talking about.
Indie guy.
This is released by Mini Rocket and Nexon. Never heard of either before.
Nope.
I believe this is their first game.
How the fuck did they get to the top of the Steam page?
Yeah, and this is.
Oh yeah, no, that was the wild thing. I think because I remember when this came out, I was like scrolling through Steam, looking at the sales and whatnot, and then one day it just appeared, front and center,
Dave the
big ass
Diver.
banner. I was like, what the fuck is this game? I've never heard of these companies before. This looks
No, I
like a
haven't heard,
Stardew Valley-esque game. I mean, it looks interesting, but I never got to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy this game.
By the way,
So why?
So, technically not their first game. Well, okay, not Nexon's.
You're
first
gonna
game.
like
It's
list
Mint
like
Rocket.
yes, Tetris for
It's-
the
It's,
like.
it's Mint Rocket. I was saying Mini Rocket because I misread my thing, but they actually created Maple Story. If you've ever heard of that.
Oh,
Nexon.
so
Nexon created it.
only like number 2 to Stardew Valley
Yeah.
casually.
Yeah.
Huh.
Which is, pretty awesome. But, so yeah, this game really did come out of nowhere. And
So pretty.
holy fucking shit did it surprise me. And yeah, as Ethan says, I'll get into... It is a fantastically beautiful game. But I'll talk about that in a little bit. But what type of game is it? Because I looked at it and I'm like, what the fuck do I expect? This is a gorgeous game, first and foremost. I am going to buy this.
Wait, you haven't bought it?
No.
He's talking in the past.
Oh,
I looked at it and went, this
okay.
is gorgeous. I have no fucking idea what it is. I'm going to buy it and play it, though.
David
It is
moment.
a management, action-adventure, role-playing game. I know. It does it all. It is the
What?
first management-style game that isn't solely management. Or, like, collection-based.
Like, what do you mean management?
Papa's
So
Pizzeria.
imagine Papa's Pizzeria
You know
type
what
thing.
Papa's Pizzeria is?
So, like...
Ethan, I was in middle school.
Okay, sorry.
I was
you're
in-
kind of uneducated in certain regards. Okay, it's
Oh, I'm uneducated.
that's true.
Do we
I
need
don't
to
wanna
bring up
say
your-
anything.
Do we need to bring up your up opinions?
Oh.
Do we need to bring up the
Oh.
fact that I can do integrals and derivatives?
Okay,
My
that's
brother...
not what I meant.
My brother.
First
okay,
of all,
okay,
bro
okay.
does one climate study and thinks he's the shit. All right, Jesus.
I'm going to kill him.
What? Sorry. What? Anyways, continue.
Hey, guys, how many professional research papers do you guys have?
Moving
I'm
on.
so sorry. I'm so sorry. What was that? What was that?
How many bitches?
One,
do you-
actually.
Um,
But moving on.
Ooh.
So, how long is the game? Or how long did it take me to beat it? So, it took me actually a little bit longer because I was trying to play through, get some collectibles type things, like try to 100% the game, which is kind of difficult, and I've been playing through it a lot more. But generally, it should take around 25 hours to beat the game. It estimates online say like 22 to 25 hours. And I would say more towards the 25-hour mark. If you're kind of like me and you want to just take your time and relax playing the game, you're not looking to complete it as fast as possible. But if you want to do completionist stuff, it'll probably take you around 50 hours. I'm about 36 hours into the game. That's exactly 36.2 hours into the game if you want to be specific. But it is a fantastic game that I'm very interested in. But one of the big things I wanted to know is the day one release was fucking insane. Like, huge. I mean, yeah, we talked a little bit about it releasing on Steam, just absolutely fucking blowing up the page. But that was like day one release.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like it blew up from day one. And I hadn't even, like, we were interested in what was going to be released indie-wise. I had not heard about this at all.
Mhm.
Like, none of us.
You dropped it in our group chat, and I was like, "What the fuck is this game?" And looked it up, and was like, "It just came out of nowhere."
It really did come out of nowhere. But also, it is statistically the most popular indie game released this year.
Damn.
So
So I guess we know where a couple of points are going to come in for Game of the Year.
Yeah, no,
All
it's
right.
just like,
So the indie Dave the Diver. It's Dave. All
So-
four of us. Dave the Diver.
kind of fucking awesome. Like I would be surprised if it weren't doing. Like we'll talk more about the nominees later, but like it'll be really cool.
God, this is an
episode,
old
by the way.
game.
But I want to talk about the story really quick. So Dave is a retired scuba diver. At the beginning of the game, you see him chilling on a beach, drinking a margarita, whatever, and he gets a call from his friend Cobra, introducing him to his new sushi restaurant idea. The whole idea is that it is going to be revolving around this ever-changing blue hole in the ocean. It's like a deep ocean crevice, or crevasse, whatever you prefer. And it's ever-changing. Every single day, every single dive is going to be different. It will have similar fish at every level, but the terrain is going to be completely different. So every time
That's
you go
really
back
cool.
into the water, it will have
That's
changed.
awesome.
Per day. And the idea of the game is you're a deep sea diver. What you're hired to do is you're going to kill, collect fish, bring it up to the surface, and then you're going to go to the sushi restaurant where you work as a waiter and you work along the head chef Bancho, who they get into the backstory of and everything within the game. But he's the one who's creating these amazing confections of sushi. And
That's so cool.
I will say though, it's really fucking funny because the entire game is based around like you do these little things, but whenever you give sushi or like whenever you unlock a new recipe, whenever you meet a new character, they have hilarious fucking animations for the stuff. Like it is, I think what you probably have seen something about the animation.
Yes.
It's yeah, I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
They're funny as fuck, and I highly recommend looking
Bro
them up.
sleeps with a body pillow, I'm just saying.
Yeah, not me.
Not him.
One of the
Not
characters
him.
in the game.
No. Well, we don't know.
Oh.
Anyway,
You can't even say anything because my bed's right there.
anyway.
While in the ocean, Dave is going on adventures to find unique artifacts, unknown creatures, beautiful fish, fantastic monsters. He fights evil poachers at some point, and there's a lot of delicious seamen. Sorry, seamen. Seamen. You get it? That's
That's good. That's good.
I
That's
thought
good.
you were trying to like say
That was
like
planned.
fish.
That
He
was,
also
that
gets-
was totally
that was planned.
Yeah. He also gets laid. So.
That was planned.
My man Dave got that Riz on him.
That
God.
was planned.
I thought it was fucking funny. Eat my ass. What do you mean?
Lame.
Yeah,
I'm
I
kidding.
plan out my gameplay reviews.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Is that
like,
written on
that's
the
pretty
doc?
good though. That's, some people at the table don't really like to plan out their reviews.
Mine are good.
Is that on the doc, David? Did you write
Yes,
that down?
I did write that down.
That's
He
funny
did
as
write that
fuck.
So gameplay involved, as we mentioned before, it's a management style thing. It's kind of like Papa's Pizzeria, except for this time you are the server, not the creator of the dishes. So you're running, trying to make sure everyone's drinks are filled. You're cleaning up places. You're giving food to people. Whatever you are, like you're working the fastest you possibly can. As well, it's an action adventure type thing. When you go and start the day, you start out on a diving boat. You dive into the water, and you're armed with your trusty harpoon at first. You have a limited supply of air and a limited amount of storage that you have per day. Or per dive, I should say, because you can dive twice to 3 times a day. It depends. So you dive in, you're shooting your harpoon at fish, you're stealing them away, you're grabbing them, you're bringing them to the surface so that you can cook foods. It's a bit of like, yeah, you're just finding these new things, you're exploring. It's just a really neat game, really unique. I highly recommend it if you like Stardew Valley, if you like Subnautica at all. Highly recommend trying this game. But yeah, what you may find interesting is that there's actually a combat portion of this game. So using your trusty harpoon, you explore the ocean, you find new weapons, harpoon tips, and as I say, weapons of mass destruction. You find some fucking
I see.
ridiculous weapons at some point, like a fully armed like laser dot sniper rifle at one point. You can have like entire grenade launchers in the water. You can have like
work?
you can have a fucking nuke in
The engineer,
ocean.
the engineer in me, I said the exact word in my brain. I just like kept it in.
It does have ridiculous reviews. So.
It's really awesome.
They went
It's
from
really awesome.
Maple Story, 260 million concurrent players, to mixed reviews, like 58% positive, to Dave the Diver.
Don't say the reviews.
I was going to just say
Why?
probably the game of the year.
No, I don't
For
think game-
indie.
indie game of the year, probably. Yeah, it's really crazy. It's really crazy.
Is
But
there bad Steam reviews?
no. It's
Yeah, it's
exact-
mostly negative.
Yeah, mostly negative,
Definitely
obviously.
0%.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
the lowest
obviously.
rated game on Steam ever.
Motherfucker.
Oh,
But
hey.
yeah, that's kind of the combat. But you use these combat mechanisms to fight bosses, as well as like more powerful fish in the ocean. So more powerful fish are obviously going to be higher classes of meat and stuff like that. So like, yeah, you do end up killing sharks in the game to make shark fin soup and stuff like that.
Even though that's bad in the real world.
So yeah, I've actually eaten shark before.
I have not.
Shark is so disgusting.
It's pretty tasty.
It's dog. What are you talking? It's
I don't
the
know what
third
fucking-
worst rated food in the entire world.
I like shark. I don't know what you're fucking talking
He's
about.
high off something. He's smoking.
Have you had it?
No, I have not had it, but all of my family members have, and they say it's the worst food that's ever graced their tongue.
It's a fucking fish. It tastes a little
There's-
bit better than mackerel.
People in Iceland have to follow it with a vodka shot or tequila shot because it tastes so bad.
I can't.
Granted, people in Iceland
I
also eat
cannot.
it like popcorn, so like that's a whole
Hey,
thing.
Ethan,
What? What's up?
have you ever eaten shark?
Yes, in my brain.
That's what I thought!
Leighton.
Moving on.
We don't get to talk
can't
about the
believe this
whole
guy.
rating things, but haven't seen it.
You guys
All right?
always mock me for it.
Because you do it all the time.
And it's very founded. So I can do it as well.
You!
I can't believe these fuckers. I cannot. But you may be wondering.
Hey, I have not said a
what
word.
do you use these fighting things on?
You may be wondering, hey,
bosses.
You may be wondering, hey, what does shark taste like? I don't know.
Shut the
It's
fuck
delectable.
up. No, it's not.
It's kind of mid, but it's okay.
It's
Um,
David had like a 100 turnaround there. What the fuck?
No, it was a joke. I was gonna try to build it up, but then Ethan started acting like it's ass. It's not ass. It's
It
just
is
mid.
ass. It is ass.
It's just mid. But okay. So let's get back to the review.
Yes,
You
we.
end up fighting these really unique, awesome sea monsters and stuff like that within there. So using your unique weapons and stuff like that, you'll fight these unique enemies that are oftentimes imperative to the story. Like guarding some type of treasure, guarding some type of idol, guarding like secret people, secret seamen type thing. So the level design is generally based on the unique world generation that you find yourself in, which is really, really interesting. And they're often enclosed by the surroundings, which adds another level of really interesting stuff to it. But, I've been singing this game's praises. It's really interesting, really unique gameplay style, really unique combat and design and everything. But I wasn't necessarily impressed by the music. It has okay background music, but where the game thrives is in its audio design and its audio quality. Because it has a lot of unique sound interactions, a lot of unique sound things, but it has the same kind of thing where a lot of these games fall into, of the same repeating background thing. It's an okay soundtrack loop, but it just continues, repeats, and you kind of get old of it over time. But I want to get to the last thing, which is visuals, which is where this game goes from a lower score to probably one of the highest scores I give to an indie game. Because this game is gorgeous in every facet of the game. Colors, to design, to character design, to animations. Everything is beautiful for a pixel art style game like this. And if you haven't checked it out, please look up some images and stuff like that. I invite you to look to it because it is gorgeous. And also, as a guy who's interested in the sea, this is really interesting. But I'll get on to my final summary and reviews because I feel everyone is fading.
No, we're just listening.
Yeah, we're attentive. We're attentive, Mr. Brown.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
I'm
everyone.
gonna have to cut
I'm
that
sorry.
entire thing out.
sorry,
dog.
everyone.
What was that? Bro got possessed for a good second. Holy shit.
So I'm going to go on to the summary and rating. This is a nearly perfect version of what the game offers, I would say. Playing the game, looking at reviews, everything like that, it is a gorgeous, fantastic game to play. I have no notes on the visuals, quality of life, or story beats. It is hilarious, fun, and relaxing. However, the music was not the most incredible and did get a little bit repetitive, so I probably will have to knock some points off for that. But it is also a little too easy, I'd say, for video game players, like experienced video game players. If you've played more than Minecraft and Stardew Valley in your life, you'll probably find this game a little too easy.
If you played Elden Ring, you'd probably find this game a little too easy.
If you
Yes.
Dark Souls 1.
Yes,
if you
it's-
played Dark Souls 3.
Dark Souls 1 is harder.
I know, I'm just...
Yes, it is a little like it's a very casual game, but it might be a little too casual for more experienced players. So maybe adding something like a more difficult version of the game for like players who want to challenge themselves. That might be something that's a little more fun.
Dave the Diver, Prepare to Die edition.
Dave the Diver. It's all Reaper Leviathans.
Whoa.
David
That'd be
Diver.
cool. That would be cool if Subnautica, like...
They should open it to the
Crossover.
workshop.
That would be
Yeah,
sick.
yeah.
That always helps the game.
No,
But yeah.
What?
Also, it doesn't really play into like I thought this game. Just a little note from my women and gender studies point of view. It doesn't lead into fat phobia and stuff like that, which is pretty interesting. Which I thought it might have done at the beginning of the game. So like, yeah, but it still makes.
Have you
jokes about
looked
his
at the
size.
game?
Huh?
Have you looked at the game?
He's a plus-sized individual, Leighton. He's a plus-sized individual.
That's not what I mean. Whatever. Alex. Moving on!
Okay, so also really quick, this game costs $20 on Steam and Nintendo. This is a fantastic game. One of the best deals that I've seen in the likes of like Hollow Knight, Terraria, and like Stardew Valley.
Minecraft
Like-
was the best $27 I ever spent in my life.
Yeah, it's one of those games. Sorry.
What?
Someone wrote. Sorry, I must have misclicked that. Someone changed the rating. I had it 9.5. I swore, but I feel like someone changed it to 1.5.
That would be Leighton Martini.
I didn't touch it.
I'm not even on it. I didn't even know.
I thought you were talking about your Steam review.
No. But
That was his Steam review. It said 1.5, but I guess he misclicked. Where?
I must have. But yeah.
Yeah, I actually did change it.
Steam reviews overall rate at
Yeah.
98 out of 100, which is a fucking crazy score for this game on Steam.
Still beaten by Pizza Tower.
Dude, Pizza Tower is the most fucking wank your dick off shit I've ever seen. It looks like a guy who legitimately is in a coma writing this shit. Like, no. I hate Pizza Tower for so many reasons, and Aiden will sing its praises.
I refunded it.
It is the night core of video games.
I refunded it. He's not even wrong. That was the most cold take I think I've ever heard. I have fucking It's Pizza Time playing on my head right now.
I fucking can't. But yeah, it is easily worth the price of the game. It is a fantastic experience, and I will say
Pizza Tower.
it may not have the best replay experience. So overall, the Forlight review that I'm going to give it is a 9.5 out of 10. It
That's
has some things
really
that
fucking high. That's pretty good.
It has some things it could improve on, but for the game that it is, it's damn near perfect.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
You know what has
I'm
great
definitely gonna be playing when it comes
replayability?
out on Nintendo.
Well, that's great replayability.
Pizza Tower.
Actually, I think it's out. I think it's out on Switch right now, right?
No, it's not. It will release soon on Switch.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I'll
yeah.
be playing that.
I highly recommend play the game. It's a gorgeous game.
I
But yeah.
have some nerdy news.
We
gotta go.
We need.
Dog.
Yeah,
I gotta-
it's like time.
No,
I just know
like, we
one
got
thing.
it.
One thing. Okay, about 2 hours
If
from
it's small, I'm going
while-
to punch you.
No, from 2 hours ago, from when we were recording this episode, Iron Lung's official trailer released.
Yeah, I'm gonna punch him.
Oh, I have to watch that.
Also, they have the new voice actor for Nintendo now of Mario.
Mario and Luigi.
They just recasted the new voice actor, as well as Microsoft has
Yep.
officially purchased Activision Blizzard, which
They
is
just won the case.
yeah, they just won the case, which is fucking
Pretty cool.
crazy.
I'm
But,
excited
like,
about it.
It's
I'm
ridiculous.
hoping they make some crazy good changes.
I'm
Please.
hoping. I'm hoping they like demolish
Shut the
Overwatch.
fuck
Just
up.
disappear.
You'll
Yeah,
see
no.
Never,
also,
never happens.
we're
Literally
going to
disappears.
we have to legitimately end this in like a couple seconds. You'll see a motorsport review coming out in the next couple weeks, as well as other reviews and other topics. But we are nearing the middle of November, and I guess next month, middle of November, game of the year.
It's coming.
It's on its way. So look out for that.
It's
I'm
almost
so
like the.
excited.
It's
And
almost
look
like the
out for
potential
game stuff.
Titanfall 3.
Please,
October.
I hope, bro.
Okay,
I hope.
Also, by the way, I got a signed card for Magic the Gathering.
Motherfucker.
Fucking sick as hell. Okay.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks.
Bye.
See you next time. Bye.